I can tell you how I feel about you night and day. What's up, family? Dun, 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 dun. I can tell you how I feel about you night and day. Those words are just coming up for your girl today. We're gonna talk. Make sure y'all come on in. Say what's up. Say what's up. Let me know that you are in the building. Let me know who you are. Say hey. Let me go to the video myself so I can check out the comments. Listen, we about to talk about Kevin Samuels. I'm gonna give a deep dive perspective into how I see things with Kevin Samuels. We're going to talk about Moon Knight because there are some pieces in the show Moon Knight that tie into this Kevin Samuels situation. And not only that, we got to talk about the old soul because this is just too funny. People are so funny. People are so funny. So when you come in, say hey, say what's up. I have a lot of new people who have made it over here to the family. So I want to take a moment to say hey, to say what's up to all of my new family members over here. It's me. It's your girl, Desiree D. Ray Wise, spiritual healing coach. And I help you heal your relationship with self to heal your relationship with others. And the build that I'm going to do today is still going to offer you those opportunities for healing your relationship with yourself to heal your relationship with others, and just helping you to understand, certain spiritual aspects that are so very important. So very important. So first, I just want to hop on this Kevin Samuels thing, right? I made a really quick reel about my perspective on why Kevin Samuels made the transition at the time that he made the transition, a couple of days before Mother's Day, while we're in this May energy, May symbolizing the mother, right? May symbolizing spring. What also is very potent and present in the spring energy is also Easter symbolizing fertility, symbolizing motherhood, symbolizing birth or rebirth and renewal. So this energy, right? This energy that our brother Kevin Samuels made the transition in is important. Okay? Now, I want to be clear that my perspective on why he made the transition at this time in correspondence to what his message is and what his message was, right? Kevin Samuels' message was all about masculine and feminine relationships, different aspects women need to understand in order to attract the right partner for them, so on and so forth. So my perspective on Hey, y'all. So my perspective on Kevin Samuels making the transition right at in this mothering energy, and him choosing to fully experience what that mothering energy is at the soul level has absolutely nothing to do with emotion. It has everything to do with spiritual science. And as we talk today, we're going to talk about that spiritual science, really, right? Because we choose when we decide to come into this planet, and we choose when we're going to leave. And we choose based off of the energies that are present on the planet at that time. This is why you have a sun sign, a rising sign, a moon sign, and all your astrology. The reason why you have that is because you as a being, you as a soul decided that you are going to enter this realm at this specific time because it will give you a certain experience. Okay? I want my people to understand that. See, if you don't have a spiritual mindset, right? if you are still locked down in religiosity, if you are still locked down in like the school way of thinking, then the concepts that I am going to relay today are not going to connect, right? Because it's too woo-woo, it's too pseudo, it's too expansive. But what I want us to know, family, is that energy cannot be created nor destroyed. So when someone makes the transition, that is not the end of the road, right? They go into another phase of their soul cycle. They go into another phase of whatever their soul is needing to fully understand who they are on a divine sacred level. They go into a whole nother refinement process in order for them to connect more fully with source energy, with the all. We really have to learn and understand, family, that we are separate. We are separate, but we're all connected at the same damn time. Okay. Before I keep going, let me say what's up to the family. Let me say what's up to my people. Study the Ascent. What's up? Eileen, peace, my good sis. Peace, Kay, Guevara. Peace, Divine. Peace, Abundance, Shelly. Peace, love. Peace, Iman. Love you too, sis. Peace, Tierra. Peace, DeAndrea, Divine. Peace to you, sis. Make sure y'all come on and like and share the video, because I feel like this information is something that everybody who has the ears to hear, right, and the eyes to see should be hip to. All right, should be hip to. Definitely, definitely, definitely. And then shout out to all of my new followers that just came online, and new subscribers. I don't want to use the word followers, new subscribers. Peace to y'all. Thank y'all for being here. I appreciate you. So how many of you people, right? How many of y'all have ever heard the saying, oh, that baby got an old soul, right? How many of you have ever heard the saying of, you know, oh, you could tell she'd been here before? Shout out to Iman, because Iman, when you messaged me on Instagram, that really was me to be like, okay, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and make a video on this. And it was because I was thinking about it already, right? And so, Iman, you just swooped through and gave the confirmation, right? Because on the reel that I did about Kevin Samuels, there were so many people in the chat saying stuff like, oh, she must just didn't like Kevin Samuels, or she must just didn't want to take responsibility, and why white people don't have to go. Like, people are saying all types of craziness that just shows where they are, right? That just shows their internal projections. And so I think it's so funny, because in the Black community, something that we've heard all the time, even from your Christian grandmother, was, ooh, that baby got an old soul, and oh, she's been here before. How many of y'all have heard those terms from your family members, or you yourself have said them? How many of y'all? Let me know in the chat. Let me know in the chat. I done heard my mama say this before. I done heard my brother say this before. I've heard people who are religious say these words. And what is really happening is, on a deep spiritual level, they understand that we do not die. On a deep spiritual level, they understand that a soul cannot die. That divine sacred light, all it does is it transforms and it transmutes, and it goes out and it seeks and it searches for other experiences that help it to become more aware of itself. But how many of y'all know that people will say that, but when they say that, they don't even know that what they're saying is they're speaking to the essence of reincarnation. When you say, oh, that baby has an old soul, what you are really saying is that that baby has had experience before under this sun on this planet. That baby is wise. And that baby is wise because that baby has had experience. because that baby, there is something within the baby that has already done this before. Don't let the little goo goo gaga spit up, breastfeeding, needing the diapers changed. Don't let that fool you. There's an energy that is encompassing that baby that may be wiser than you. And this is why your grandmas, even though she loves the Lord, even though she goes to church every Sunday, she'll look at that baby and say, that's an old soul. Oh, that baby done been here before. But the religion, right? The religion and the school way of thinking, that fear-based mind stops them, right? They can say that, but they're saying that they're unconscious of what they're saying because they're speaking to something that religion and school has blocked from their minds. Like, okay, you're born, you have this body, you live your life, you get married, you have kids, then you die and you're done. Like school and religion kind of teaches you that. But people don't know and understand that every time you're saying a baby has an old soul, whenever you're saying that kid is wise beyond their years, you are speaking to the fact that that child has actually, and not that child, not Jack, not John, not Jill, not that name, right? Not that body, but that soul has been here before. Does that make sense? So yes, Kevin Samuels will not return as Kevin Samuels again. He will return as someone else that understands and seeks to understand what that feminine matriarch mother energy actually is. And that's not me saying that he's going to come back as Big Shirley. That's not me saying that he's going to come back. He's going to be a single mom, have 4 kids and can't find love. He's going to come back. I'm not saying any of that. I can't speak to what exactly he will experience, but what I can say based off of what I am observing energetically, intuitively, and spiritually based off of my gifts and talents, what I can say is that he will return seeking and searching for a deeper understanding for feminine energy. Okay? Period. And so there's a lesson in that. There's a blessing in that. There's an understanding in that. And the deeper understanding is whenever you have strong opinions, strong emotions towards certain things that exist within this human realm, whenever your perspective is limited in this human realm, you are asking to have a certain experience that will broaden your horizon, that would broaden how you think, that would broaden how you perceive a certain experience. Okay? All right? And here's the funny part. There's a lot of stuff that Kevin Samuel said that I recognize and resonate with so deeply. But there are also some other things that he said where I've witnessed, right, more. For example, right? For example, here's something that I connected with Kevin Samuels. When he asked about your dress size, what would you rate yourself? Do you exercise? Do you take care of your mental health? You know, do you have any children? What is your body type like? Do you have a high sex drive? Like when he talked about all of those things, I could connect with that. Here's why. I met Dream when I was 18 years old. I met Dream when I was 18 years old. We were just friends. I was still in college. He had already graduated from college and was already working, building up his skills, his talents, and really expanding in his profession, right? I was still in college. When I graduated college, a couple of months after I graduated, this is when we started looking at each other like, could this be something more, right? I graduated college at the age of 20, turned 21 the year that I graduated, right? And literally everything that Kevin Samuel said about not having children, about, having an educate, and y'all, these things are not, I'm not saying that these things are right or wrong. I'm just giving you my experience and why that was one of the things where I said, okay, there's some accuracy to that. Because literally, when Dream and I decided that we were going to be together, I didn't have any children. My body was super on point. I mean, I was a professional volleyball player. I was meditating, taking care of myself. I had just graduated from school. I was getting my feet wet in my profession. Those are the things that I was doing. And Dream said, you know what? You the woman for me. Let's do this whole thing. And he literally took the steps to commit to me. He said, you know what? You're the one that I want, right? Kevin Samuels even said this: your body type and where you are physically means a lot to a man, because when a man sees you, he's thinking, okay, if I get her pregnant, how is she going to snap back? What is her body going to be like? How is she going to be with kids? Does she have the energy? So on and so forth. Literally, before Dream and I ever heard anything about Kevin Samuels or any of this stuff, we literally had a conversation where he literally said, Dream said to me, like, yeah, I knew if I would have got you pregnant, yeah, we'd be good. You know what I mean? Literally, after Dream had already been together for a couple of years, he backdoored and told me, yeah, I knew the first time I saw you that we were gonna be together and we were gonna have kids. So when Kevin Samuels says that these quote unquote high value men are looking for women who do not have children, who are in shape, who take care of themselves, who value themselves, who love themselves, I recognize that because that is how my relationship with Dream manifested. Now, here's the opposite side. Here's another thing that Kevin Samuels said that was so bold that I didn't necessarily agree with, but I understood, right? And it gave me a deeper understanding to value my relationship with Dream more. He said, it is a more challenging situation for women who have children to find a partner who is wanting and willing to love on those kids as their own. How do I know that that point is accurate, but women can still find love? Women can still find love. Women can still find love. Here's how I know this. One, my mother was a single mother of 3 children. And she did not find her true love. She did not find the man who was going to treat her right, give her everything that she needed, be the provider, be a protector, be a leader. She did not find that until we were damn near grown, right? Like, she didn't find that until like we were in our later years in high school, in college, where the man wasn't necessarily needed to raise us or take care of us in that way. Hell, we were already on our way figuring our lives out. Up until that point, my mom had been in very tumultuous, verbally, physically abusive relationships that just did not work. Is it impossible for it to work? No, it's not impossible. Nothing is impossible. And that's the thing about Kevin Samuels that I did rebuttal, because anything is possible. How do I know that anything is possible? My older brother is in a committed relationship with a woman who has 3 kids. 2 of those kids are in elementary school, 1 is in middle school. And my brother loves this woman, loves her. Okay? My brother loves this woman, is committed to this woman, and they own a home together, like they doing their thing, right? So the thing about this work that I'm presenting to you right now is that you cannot be so gung-ho on one way of thinking. You cannot be so caught up in thinking that this one way, this perspective, this way of how you view the world is all that it is. Because when you have that, you lock yourself down to that state of being. And so Kevin Samuels does not have to return as a woman, but he will return with a soul mission of understanding the essence of a woman even more deeply. Who knows exactly how he will come back, but his journey, his process, the cycle of his soul based off of how he lived in this life is going to seek to create balance. See, when you have a one-track mind, you lack balance. When you don't understand that there are infinite possibilities, when you are seeking to control one perspective, when you are always spewing one rhetoric, You lock yourself down to that thing, and your soul is like, okay, I got to show you that there's more. I have to show you that there's more to life than the way that you are perceiving this thing. Okay. And then again, this has nothing to do with emotion. This is not an emotional thing at all. This is the essence of you being a soul, having a human experience. See, the ego is always gathering information, and then the soul is always picking up that information and discovering what is useful for your growth and for your expansion. Okay? I need y'all to understand that. And so, this is what ties into Moon Night. This is what ties into Moon Night, because in Moon Night, the big deal, the theme of the show Moon Night was about the scale. Is your heart light? Yes, that my energy. That was the essence of the show Moon Night. Everything was about the scale. Is your heart as light as a feather? And when you are so gung-ho on one perspective, when you are so emotional, when you don't hold yourself accountable to change, to transform, to broaden your horizons, your heart is not light. And you got to go through the journey again and again and again and again. Let me know in the chat, family, if this is making sense. Let me know in the chat if this is making sense. I don't want to lose nobody. Let me know. You got to make sure your heart is light. You got to pack light, like Erykah Badu said. She said, pack light. Some of y'all are literally bag ladies. Bag ladies and bag men. Bag ladies and bag men. And you are a bag lady or a bag man, as Erykah Badu would say, because you really believe in all of the stories that you tell yourself. You don't know and understand that there could be an alternative reality. You don't know and understand that there are alternative realities. I mean, damn, Donald Trump taught us that with the alternative facts. Okay? We got to really understand this. So when it comes down to you being a spiritual being, having this spiritual experience, one thing that is so important is don't be so attached. Don't be so attached to a certain idea, to a certain belief, to a certain emotion, to a certain thought. Right? That attachment is crazy. Like even the men, right? It's so funny. I was reading some of these comments and these men were just like, oh yeah, you must be really hurting because he told you the truth. I'm like, see, there are so many men out here and women, right? There were so many women that were attached to this idea that Kevin Samuels was just a bad man. He tore women down and all of that. There were so many women attached to that idea. But then you have men who were so attached to the idea that women don't know how to hold themselves accountable, who are so attached to the idea that women don't like to hear the truth. And I'm like, y'all are all delusional. It's like you don't even recognize the level of delusion, right? The level of attachment to needing to be right, attachment to needing to prove like you know something, right? We have so many freaking attachments to so many things that just don't matter. Literally, women attached to, oh no, he ain't gonna say that and da 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 da. And then men attached to, oh, these Black women just don't hold themselves accountable. I'm like, y'all are really serious right now. Like, I love that. Get yourself out of this. The delusion is so thick. The delusion is so thick. And listen, I'm not just making fun of those people, because we all have our attachments to certain things. And I actually have a video coming out soon that is going to talk about, these ways that the ego protects itself. The ego is always seeking to protect itself. And this is not anything bad, right? The issue comes in when the ego is protecting itself from an issue that's not there, right? From psychological fear. That's the thing. So yes, denial, displacement, rationalization, right? Projection, right? These are all different things that the ego will do to not be seen as separate, right? To not be seen as if it is the end all be all. Because when you recognize, oh shit, my ego is really trying to run me, really trying to control me, when you become aware of that, now you are challenged to take responsibility on how you are thinking and how you are perceiving the world. Now you are challenged to look at these subconscious fears that you have and asking yourself, okay, why do I have that? Okay. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing, but something that is so important is always going to be analyzing where you are truly. And this is why Moon Knight was so good. How many of y'all watched the show Moon Knight? Because in Moon Knight, we see that Mark, who was actually the original person, let's say, he created, and this is going to be a spoiler alert for anybody who hasn't watched it. If you care, then close your ears, okay? Mark is the original being who was dwelling in that body. Mark is who he is. But when he experienced trauma, he created this whole separate alter ego as a form of protection, right? Because his heart was so heavy, because the pain that he felt was so heavy, was so emotional, was so traumatizing, he literally had to detach from who he was and create a whole new being. We do this all the time. We do this all the time. And there is power in that, because you need some cognitive dissonance to start creating a new reality, right? You don't want to keep telling yourself the same old story. See, a lot of the brothers and a lot of the women who have strong emotion towards Kevin Samuel's work, as far as they appreciated it, and for those people who can't stand it, right? You're still stuck in a certain story. You're repeating the same story over and over again. And you need to detach from that story a little bit so that you can get on a new timeline, so that you can start having a new experience, so that you can start manifesting a new reality. Okay? So yes, that is necessary, but you cannot forget who you are. What you really have to do is transmute that energy, which at the end of Moon Knight, Mark was able to actually do, into where it was like, okay, let me go back and look at this trauma. Let me go back and look at this unresolved shit that has created this belief system, that has created this state of being. Let me go back and reflect on that. Right? But when you go back and reflect on it, it's not for you to sit there, for you to stay there, for you to waddle in it and just stew in the sadness of your trauma and the things that didn't work out in your life. Because again, when you do that, your heart is going to be heavy and you're going to be cast aboard the ship. Okay? Y'all saw that on Moon Knight when them people were, those little dead beings were climbing on the boat where they were getting their heart measured, and they were pulling them down, trying to bring them down. That same type of energy is prevalent within you when you don't change the story that you're telling yourself. Okay? The same old story of repetitious trauma. And again, that's why some women who didn't like Kevin Samuel's message would still come back and listen to it. Right? There was something that kept women coming back and listening to it, even though they didn't like what was being said. And that was because they're addicted to that trauma. They're addicted to that trauma. They're addicted to that same old story. And yes, Awakened Stone 222, that's exactly what I was thinking about when I saw that in the movie Soul. And the movie Soul also gives us an understanding of reincarnation. They put it in a Disney movie. Energy cannot be created nor destroyed. It is transmuted, it is transformed, it embodies another vessel, it embodies another state of being, just so that it can become more familiar with itself. Okay? So you got to start telling yourself a new story. You have to detach. You have to detach. Detach from the thoughts, detach from the emotions, detach from the experiences that do not serve your highest, most expansive good. Okay? And this takes work. This takes practice. This takes consciousness. It takes awareness. See, when Mark and Moon Knight became aware that he was keeping the little boy him, in the closet or in the room upstairs, when he became aware, like, oh, I have to stop fighting this, when he finally allowed himself to just release that, right? When he stopped resisting the experiences that he's had, now he was able to set himself free. Okay? Now he was able to set himself free. Now he's able to experience more love. Now he's able to really open himself up to fully embody that God energy. Okay? Yes, I love what Dream said. You are a ball of energy, not the physical vessel. Even in Moon Knight, when they had the deities, when they had the gods inside of the little sand statues, that energy was just residing in the statue. It's not the statue, though. The energy is not the statue. Kevin Samuel's energy is not all that makes up Kevin Samuel's. He is an energy, he's a soul, and he's seeking and searching to have a certain experience, to learn something. And we are all doing the same exact thing. So when we understand that, it helps us to release our need, right? It helps us to release our need to hold on to certain human ideas, to certain human emotions, to certain human experiences. You have to understand that you are more than just your physical body, your human experiences. You are so much more than that. And it just takes you shattering some of your belief systems. It takes you breaking through some of those emotions for you to realize the fullness of who you are, which is why when they threw the little statues down in Moon Knight, now you're getting the full essence of the god, Kansu, and whoever the other girl was. Amen or something like that. I can't fully remember. All right. So y'all really have to understand that, and understand that you are always seeking and searching to learn. And anything that has an emotional hold on you is simply just giving you a sign or a symbol that you need to understand it a little bit more deeply. Right? For example, when I was overcoming abandonment issues with my father and really feeling not good enough, really feeling not worthy, really feeling not loved, it wasn't because those things were actually true, right? I was having those feelings, I was having those emotions because my soul needed to understand what it truly means to love myself. My soul needed to truly understand what it means to hold myself down, what it means to be a sovereign being. what it means to enjoy my own company, what it means to give myself value, not based off of what I can do or who else I'm making happy, and so on and so forth. Okay. Whenever you have any strong beliefs, strong thoughts, strong emotions, you are asking essentially to experience that thing so that you can break free from it, so that you can gain a higher perspective. Okay. You got to gain a higher perspective. And you have to, and I like what Awakened Stone 222 said, you have to break free. You have to break free. Like, I was not mad at all at Kevin Samuel's rhetoric or message. Really, it helped me to look at Dream. It helped me to look at Dream more closely and to honor him even more, because I realized, like, wow, like, having a partner who wants to be and chooses to be committed to you and love you and honor you and respect you and raise children with you and own businesses with you, like, having that is such a powerful thing. It's such a beautiful thing. And it's something that we can't take for granted. And so that's a whole nother lesson that came through from Kevin Samuels, which is honor your loved ones. Honor your loved ones. Not even out of, just the thought, even though this is important, because, a person can be here today and gone tomorrow, not just from that essence, but because you've decided to have this human experience together. And when you make that choice, you are asking the people who you are relating with, whether it is your mother, your father, your husband, or your wife, your children, your friends, your coworkers, you are asking them to give you a certain experience that is going to help you connect more deeply with that divine sacred part of yourself. No matter what is happening in the relationship, there's always an opportunity for you to look deeper at who you are and the role that you play in the manifestation of whatever is taking place, whether healing is taking place or destruction, right? Whether you are manifesting beautiful things or you manifesting more trauma. No matter what it is an opportunity for your growth and for your evolvement. Right? So it teaches you really to hold your loved ones close. And when I say your loved ones close, I mean those relationships that were built on the essence of love. Right? Even when you and your partner are getting into arguments and disagreements and all of that good stuff like that, don't be so quick to throw in the towel. Give each other the space, give each other the unconditional love, give each other the energy that is required to support each other in your healing. It is not your job to heal anybody. You support each other in your healing. So as I'm doing my healing work, Dream gives me experiences that support my healing. Okay? I don't know what you're talking about in that chat, babe. I did good this Mother's Day. What you talking about in the chat, babe? You must be talking about with your own mama for Mother's Day. Right? Some other things that were in the freaking comments of that reel was like, well, who even made Mother's Day? I'm like, people, let me say this to y'all spiritual people right now. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Like, we get it already. We get it already. And if you feel like you still have to make a point that holidays are just made for to make money and fiat currency and blah, blah, blah. If you still feel like you have to preach that, you got a lot more work to do. It is what it is. You have a lot more work to do if you still feel like you have to say, oh yeah, Christmas is for this and Mother's Day is for this and Thanksgiving is for this. Like, we get it already. We get it already. And here's the fact that you need to know and understand. Here's the fact that you need to know and understand. Because Mother's Day, Valentine's Day, Christmas, Thanksgiving, because all of these holidays have been in place and have gathered so much energy for so many years, There is nothing that you can do that is going to stop that energy from being present. The energy is already so thick. The energy is already so ingrained in the human psyche. There's nothing you can do about it. So stop getting on people's pages and posts and being like, yo, Christmas is only celebrated to make money and da da da. Everybody already knows that. Everybody already knows that. Now, what you do between you and your family, have at it. But see, the matriarchal energy, the mothering energy, the divine feminine energy was already present before Mother's Day, which is an even greater testament to what I feel intuitively from that Kevin Samuels energy. Mother's Day just so happened to be the weekend of the experience of his transition. But during this entire time, for months, most of us who are on this spiritual path have been discussing divine feminine energy, getting into that heart space, healing your heart. That has been the energy. So I can say with conviction and with love that Kevin Samuel's soul was seeking or will seek to understand the heart, that divine feminine love, that mother's love, that unconditional love. You know how your mother loves you? She don't care about what you did. She don't care about mistakes you made. She love you, love you, love you, love you. I'm not talking about that part of your mama that has been traumatized, that is still in her shadow self, so on and so forth. I'm talking about the essence of a mother. Okay? And we have been in this energy heavy. Again, your heart must be light. Your heart must be light. Your heart must be light. Okay? You did give me a good gift. You did give me a good gift, babe. You did give me a good gift. Yes, that great mother energy is so present. And all we're talking about is divine feminine energy. We're not talking about all of that stuff they talking about on social media and on YouTube and all of this. Women don't know how to take accountability and so on and so forth. What? When a woman is tuned into her divine feminine energy, accountability, what? Like she sees herself. She knows herself. She knows that she is the generator. She knows that she is the creator, and she knows that she can be a destroyer. She knows that she can be destructive. She knows she can tear some shit up. But see, a lot of people who are so emotional about this thing, they don't understand the essence of the divine feminine and the divine masculine energy. Okay? And it's a very beautiful dance between divine feminine and divine masculine energy. And the truth of the matter is, which y'all already know this, if you're here, I believe you know this, you already know that we have both of those energies within us. And you need both of them to function as a high level conscious being. You need to know, okay, my feminine energy, my intuitive energy, my high priestess energy, or my empress energy is needed right now. And then on the opposite side, you need to know, okay, my emperor energy is needed right now. That masculine energy that is going to take action, that masculine energy that is going to plan is needed right now. Okay? So you need both of those things. And yes, absolutely, your awareness is key. From what space and from what place are you perceiving the world? Are you perceiving your situation? What is moving you in the ways that you are moving? All right. And I want to challenge y'all. Anytime your family members say, "Ooh, that baby got an old soul," right? Anytime your family members say, "Oh, she done been here before," you need to ask them, "Oh, so you believe in reincarnation?" You need to say, "Oh, so you believe in reincarnation, huh?" Break up some of that stuff that's in their mind, because we got so many illusions, so many veils over our faces. And our unconscious, our infinite mind, it knows some high level stuff. It knows some high level stuff. But the school and the religion and all of that, it stops us from being able to fully embody and embrace that energy. And so when you catch your family members saying something that is high level, you can support them by asking them questions about what they just said. Right? Here's an example of that. In January, my older brother, his very best friend, made the transition the day after his birthday. The day after his birthday, my brother's best friend, the day after his birthday was January 28th, and I believe he passed on the 29th, turned 33. You can't make this divine stuff up, right? Turned 33. And he, my mother. Now there's some spiritual stuff that I know. Like, immediately when this happened, I wouldn't say immediately, but a little while after this happened, my mind automatically said, oh, he's going to come back as my brother's son or my brother's daughter. He's going to come back as my brother's child. And the reason why I said this is because having children is something that my brother, my oldest brother, having biological children is something that he really craves, is something that he really wants, right? He doesn't have any biological children right now, which is part of the reason why he is currently in a relationship with a woman who has 3 kids. See, this is why you take what you want from certain people and you leave the rest. Okay, you take what you want from certain people and you leave the rest. So when Kevin Samuels is saying a woman is not going to find someone to love her and care for her when she has kids, that's not completely true. My brother is, he on its entrepreneurial path. He's going to grind. He's a good man, and see, you also have to question what is high value. See, that's a whole nother conversation. I did a video on that, but my brother is a high value man to me. Not just because he's my brother, but because he loves deeply. He cares deeply. He's always seeking and searching to improve himself. If there are children around, he's going to love on those children, nurture them, protect them. He's always going to protect the woman that he is with. He's going to protect his family. He has a kind, giving heart. He's just not selfish. Then he can change an oil. He can do an oil change. He's handy. He's always going to grind. He's always he's always doing what he needs to do to expand. So he's a high value man to me. Wow, Ernestine. I didn't even know that was the same day. Wow. So he's a high value man. Peace and blessings to you, Ernestine, my good sis. Right? So he's a high value man to me. And he could have, and he's handsome at that. So he could have a woman that don't have kids. He could have a woman that don't have kids, but based off of his experience, based off of what his soul is craving, based off of the growth and the expansion that he is seeking and searching for, he chose to be in a relationship with a woman who does have kids. Okay? That's what he chose. He chose to be in a relationship with a woman who does have kids because that is what he is needing. So when my boy Kevin Samuels comes through and say, oh no, don't no man, won't no woman who it's not completely true because everybody is different. Everybody is looking and seeking for something different. There are infinite possibilities. But anyways, my brother's best friend made the transition. And I had already had the thought like, oh, Shermo, he's going to come back as my brother's child. Right? He's going to come back as my brother's child. And because Shermo was the person who really got my brother, like he really understood my brother. He's really my brother's brother. He loves my brother. And he loves me, and he loved my younger brother because he loved my big brother. Like, they were literally best friends for years since they were in ninth grade, right? They were best friends since they were in ninth grade. He passed at 33. So we're talking about 14 years old to 33 of being best friends. And we all knew in my family that Shermo and my big brother, they were like soulmates. That's a whole nother topic, right? Your soulmate does not just have to be someone who you are in a relationship with, man-woman relationship, but a soulmate can be your very best friend. Shermo was my brother's very best friend. Shermo was one of my brother's soulmates. I know this from observing their relationship and how they healed, laughed, how they were able to go through ups and downs with each other, like in their separate lives, and they were able to rely on each other for that sacred, unconditional love and support. He was one of my brother's soulmates. And Shermo knew that having a child was one of my brother's greatest aspirations, goals, and things that he would love to do. And I truly felt from knowing Shermo and knowing my brother that Shermo is like an angel. He was a guardian angel for my brother. Because my brother, when he was younger, a fighter, don't take no shit, so on and so forth. But with Shermo always kept him at a level head. Shermo always, been like, nah, bro, we don't even got to worry about that. Like, whether my brother had money in his pocket or not, Shermo was always by his side. And so after Shermo's funeral, my mom was like, yeah, Shermo just gonna come back as Dan. My big brother's name is Dan, and Shermo just gonna come back as Dan's baby. That's what's gonna end up happening, because that's how deeply they loved each other. That's how deeply they loved each other, man to man, brother to brother. Right? My mom literally said that. And my mom is a Christian woman going to church. And she said that. So what that says to me is that there's a deep spiritual essence that we all have, no matter what religion, no matter what school, no matter what upbringing. There's this deep intuitive knowing that we all have. And you'll say certain things, or you'll hear certain things that are of high spiritual science. And then right when you get into a conversation about it, what happens? The ego comes up. The ego comes up. It denies, it projects, it rationalizes. It does all of these things to not go deeper into that spiritual essence. Because when you understand that you are the spirit and you are not the ego, now the ego is like, okay, well, where's my place in all of this? And the ego has a place. The ego is necessary. The ego is not the bad guy. But when it is not in its rightful place, this is when you be projecting, blaming everybody else for your shit, blaming what somebody else did or did not do, and that's why you have your issues. This is when you don't take accountability. That's ego. When you can't say, I did this, this is why, right? Ego. And so when y'all hear some of your family members say some high-level spiritual stuff, I want y'all to ask them, what do they mean by that? How do you know that? Because what you're going to do for them is break up certain illusions that they have. Cause them to think even deeper about what it is they are expressing. Okay? You will see that we are so much wiser, so much stronger, so much more powerful than what we think. A lot of people think, Kevin Samuels is just a relationship consultant, and he said this and he did this and he made women look at their truth and all of that. Like, yes, that's cool on the surface, but there is always deeper. There is always more. Okay? There's always more. And so it is important to reflect on yourself and make sure that your heart is as light as a feather. And in order for your heart to be light as a feather, you cannot be caught up in everything else somebody else is doing and saying. Take what you like, take what you need, and leave the rest. Take what resonates with you and leave the rest. Look at yourself. Do not be afraid. Do not resist some of those thoughts, some of those emotions, some of those experiences that don't necessarily feel good. Don't run away from those things. Don't resist those things. Okay? Because when you resist and when you fight, you're really just going against yourself. Okay? Lastly, let some shit go. People are going to do things, people are going to say things that, you know, people don't understand God and Goddess. Let's just say that. Let's just call it like that. There are going to be people who do not understand divine sacred beings. There are going to be people who do not have that higher level of science, you know, in their being. They just don't get it. They just don't get it. And that is okay. As long as you get it, as long as you get you, that is the most important thing. All right. I love y'all. Anybody start talking about an old soul, you ask them what they mean about that. All right. I'll be talking to y'all later, family. Peace, peace, peace. Thank y'all for joining.